Greetings everyone, my name is Rayvenwing, and this is hopefully the start to a brand new series. Now, like my Desert City series, this one is not starting from day one. I've beaten the Ender Dragon, built a mostly finished house, got myself some wings, and some pet dragons. That's because this world is using the Dragon's Legacy mod, which adds rideable, tameable dragons into the game. You can even hatch the egg that the Ender Dragon drops. And with a bit of configuring, you can make other types of dragon eggs appear in loot chests. So, let me introduce you to the dragons themselves. Here are the dragons I've hatched. This is Boo. Boo is the first ever dragon I found in this world, a bone dragon, which you find in minecart chests in abandoned mineshafts. And honestly, I think this is one of my favorite of the dragon designs I've seen so far. I really like the glow to the wings and the eyes and the horns and the tail. It's a very cool effect. So don't tell anyone else, but I think Boo might be my favorite. This is the second dragon I ever hatched, Moss, who is a forest dragon, which are usually found in jungle temples. But despite being set up next to several jungles, I didn't find one on my own. Instead, I found a different type of dragon egg and turned it into a forest type of dragon egg, which is something you can do and I will show you later. Also, design-wise, I really like some of the swirling details on the sides, and also that the wings kind of look leafy. Last but not least of my hatched dragons, this is an ether or aether dragon, I don't know how it's pronounced, and I don't quite have a name for this one yet. I actually still need to come up with one. I really like the sort of the blues and grays. I do kind of wish the wings were a bit more detailed, but it's still a very pretty dragon. Now, these are not the only 3 dragons I have. These are just the 3 that I've hatched. When it comes to the ones I haven't hatched, they are in here. This is kind of the quick hatchery I built. Because you can change a dragon egg's type by meeting certain conditions. For example, this is the one that gets you a forest dragon, like Moss. They like having a bunch of leaves around them. Being submerged in water is how you get a water dragon. Magma blocks and I believe lava give you fire dragon. Black stone and basalt gives you another dragon. Ice and snow gives you ice dragons. An aether dragon is one you get by hatching it above a certain height limit. I don't remember the number off the top of my head. And I believe the bone dragon requires a certain low light level. This one I just added because I was thought it would make sense for dragons to sit on piles of gold. Here are my unhatched eggs. I have the end dragon egg, I have a water dragon egg, another dragon egg, an ice dragon egg, and a fire dragon egg. I also have a couple extra in here. Now that introductions are out of the way, let me explain what my actual plan is for this series. I'm going to build a unique dragon home for each of the 8 dragon types. Aether, Ghost, Forest, Water, Ice, Fire, Nether, and End. Each one will be a large structure or collection of structures themed towards the dragon I'm building it for. I may even include a relevant farm or 2 if I can. And since I'm set up here in a sparse jungle, I've picked out a spot nearby where we'll be starting with the home of the forest dragon. So, let's head on over. Okay, here it is. It obviously doesn't look like much yet, but this is the spot. I have a couple of bits of stone around just to try to get a general idea. I don't know if I'll actually end up using any of those though, because today, the main thing I'm going to be trying to do is to lay out a rough outline of how big the structure is going to be and exactly where it's going to be. Because this one I'm thinking is going to be one larger structure, and very, very roughly inspired by the in-game jungle temples, because that's where you can find the forest dragon eggs. Now, the jungle temple in-game is kind of just a bunch of cobblestone and mossy cobblestone, and it doesn't have a whole lot to it, and so it's roughly based, as in I will probably be using a lot of mossy stone and mossy cobble, but that's about the extent of it. Now, I actually do have a sketch that I'm going to show on screen that is at least what I'm thinking so far. It's just a quick doodle of me trying to figure out a general idea of what I'm going for. I'm honestly going to be looking mostly at the top-down view that I've drawn there, for most of this step in particular. So I don't know about you, but when I start a new project, I can sit and stare at the metaphorical blank canvas for hours without doing anything. So what I actually need to do is just place some blocks. They don't have to be good. I can tear down every single block I place, but it will be my rough draft. And all the rough draft needs to do is exist. Once something exists, then I can edit it. So I've got to make it exist first. And then I'll worry about making it look better. So, let's get started, let's place some blocks, and I'll talk you through my process. Okay, first on the list I need to lay out a square, because that is the basic shape of the structure. I'll probably be building mini squares as I put them up and take them down and figure out where I need things to be and how big I need them to be. I may have mentioned before, but I feel like the top-down image that I sketched will probably be the most useful here, as I'm trying to figure out the scale that I'm going to be working with. So, looking at that image, in the middle of each side I have what will be a small river and waterfall. I'm going to have a walkway on either side, I'm going to have the square structures on either side, and in the middle I have the big structure, which is going to be the dragon's perch. Now, I went and checked, and the dragons fit pretty comfortably in like a 10 by 10 square. That gives them a bit of wiggle room without being too big. So I'm going to start with that number. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we're good. Okay, so if this would be the top platform that the dragon is sitting on top of and chilling in. This is nice and big, it gives them lots of space. So there will probably be a pillar at each corner. So let's just do that so I can see that. I kind of want there to be a bit of a ledge, but I don't know how big I want it. So let's start with there just being like a little... So just around the edge there's at least one layer of a ledge. And then in my sketch it has a ledge and then it drops down one. Little, like in a stair step. So imagine this going down. So this is a ledge on the outside, then it goes down one, and then it goes down one more. Because this is all just to figure out an initial size to work with here. And then what I'm thinking is that there will be pillars going down on these edges, except going down instead of up. So this is, oh, so this is 10, which means it has a 2-block center. I don't know if I want that. Let's make this 11. Maybe. I don't want to make this too big. So, like, theoretically, I do like a 4-block waterway, and then like a 3-block walkway. Actually, that does not help. And so if it's like this, let's say if it's a 2-block or 3-block walkway, let's do 3. See, I'm freezing up. This is not helping. Do I want to do 2-block center? I don't know. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Okay, so that'd be the 5 wide for the water and 4 wide for the pathways. So this will be a wall, and then there'll be like stairs going up 2 to 3 blocks. Whether I want just a 2-wall or a full 3. I'm leaning towards 3. So if this is a wall, then this is a sunken arch. So there's possibly some space underneath. I think it's just me attempting to understand 3D spaces. And then I want the outer squares to be a bit bigger than the central one. So this is 11. This would theoretically do this. So 12, 13, 14, 15. I lined up with a tray, perfect. So it's like that. Let's look at it from above. It's not huge, actually. I kind of want it to go out more. Ow. Yeah, it's not very big at all. Oops, I'd miscounted. Great. I missed. I missed and I miscounted. I don't want to go like too big, but also I'm like, does this need to be bigger? Because the middle itself can still be 11-11 if I want to keep it an odd 1-block middle. Or maybe the stair step downs are not 1 block. It can be 1 block and then 2 blocks down. Or even 3. It would be like 3. I'm like noting down numbers. Because I'm imagining like you walking by it. I think I might keep this as 11 for now. So this is 11. And then this step down goes down. No, this is the ledge. So this is the ledge on the outside. This is even. So 11-11. Even ledge. 2 down. 3 down, and then another walkway, like a 2-block walkway. Okay, because this is even, I'm going to make it all of the same magenta wool just to make it a little more clear. So this is even, this is an outer ledge that is at the same level, and then you drop down 2. Be this ledge, drop down 3 to get to this ledge, and then this will be a walkway. This is above the water. This is all above the water, so I'm not gonna show the water here. Okay, so even path down 3 with 3-block wall next to it. You have this little pathway. Should I make this 3 or would that be too much? So it'd be like 3 with a wall. Yeah, let's try going bigger first. I think I do like that a little bit better. And then that's a ledge. And then this is where a walkway comes in. What if I overlap these a little bit more? But I also want this bigger. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. That's not bad. I'm still a little tempted to make the orange even bigger. I am wanting to put a relevant farm in a bunch of these. And I had the thought of doing like a melon and pumpkin farm in this. Except I already have one. And I don't really want to or need to make another one. And so I'll have to come up with something. Because my first thought would be like bamboo, and I actually have 2 bamboo farms. Or pumpkins and melons, which I already have one of those farms as well, so. This is also not where it's going to be located. I want to put it like further that way. This is just the figuring out the sizes part. See, I'm torn between the not wanting to make it bigger than I can handle, but at the same time, one of the other builds I'm working on, my Desert City build, I made the circle a little bit small. I do kind of wish I'd made it a little bigger, and so I'm torn on that. Hi. It is a rainforest, I guess. And check from the sky yet again. That might be good. I don't want it to be like massively huge. I think some of the other builds are going to end up bigger, but maybe another 2. I might be making it too big, but 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, I'm gonna keep tweaking this, and then I will come back once I'm satisfied and I can count out how big this final thing is gonna be for the main outline. Okay, I figured out how big this whole thing is gonna be, at least in this version. These squares are 27 by 27 currently, and this middle area is 17 blocks across. So, total, each side of this structure should be about 71 blocks. Now let's check that math, make sure that it's actually 71, and then once I have that confirmed, I'm gonna have to rebuild this outline somewhere over here, I think. But first we'll check the math here. Measure twice, place a bunch of wool blocks fewer times than if you didn't measure twice. Okay, let's go do that. Okay, 71 blocks wide confirmed. Okay, now I've got to probably get a couple screenshots of this and then tear it down and find where I want to place the whole thing. Because I think I want to build it a little further that way. This was a test area that got big. So I'm gonna do that. I will check back in once I've made big square part 2.
Loops portray the feeling of friendship, so the more loops you draw around the Pokemon, the more it will submit to your friendship.
I am genuinely shocked that I apparently got the numbers right on the first try. Okay, now I guess it's time to look over the whole thing and see if this is the place I want it to be or if I need to scoot it somewhere else. I don't know whether to be worried or proud that this actually seems like a good spot. I will obviously need to do some terraforming to flatten it out a little bit. I am thinking that the lowest part of it will be on kind of I guess on stilts. It'll be kind of a raised structure. And so the ground doesn't need to be completely even, but I do need to decide on where the, what I want the main level to be. Yeah. Oh, that's a good, I like that view, with the sun going down behind it. I'm pretty happy with that, actually. I guess I can add some breadcrumbs of wool just to indicate what I roughly want for the road. And I might at least roughly count out sort of like where the outer orange squares end and begin, and where the water flow is going to be and where the central square is going to be. And then we'll probably be about done with this episode. It's not any big impressive builds yet. It's just it'll be a detailed square of wool by the end of this, but it is an outline, which is honestly sometimes the hard part. So let's get to sleep and get that going. Oh, right. If I didn't already mention this, my current plan is just to have a few episodes per dragon type. I very much have the feeling that some of these builds will be significantly easier or harder than others, so we'll see how that goes. I'm planning for this to be a somewhat a not super long series. Also, speaking of just series in general, with the start of this one, I will have 2 ongoing series. My current plan is to alternate with 2 episodes of my Desert City series with 1 episode of this Dragon series. I've always found that it's nice to have a couple of projects going at once, because if I'm ever procrastinating on one of them or stuck on one of them, I can just jump over to the other and still get some stuff done even while I'm technically procrastinating. It helps me to be a bit more productive and to feel a bit more productive even when I run into creative blocks. I'm hoping that everyone will enjoy this series. I'm hoping that I will enjoy making it, and that it'll mix up the content I'm making a little bit. And with that, I hope to see you in the next episode. We will be coming back here to continue work on the Forest Dragon's new jungle temple of sorts. And here's to hoping that this series will be just as fun as it sounds. Bye!